Hey, what's up, fellow MGTOW brothers? This is Wings for Chains. This video's purpose is to serve as an introduction to my channel so that the viewer has an elementary understanding of what to expect from me. Now, I'm new to MGTOW, but not that new. I started having the MGTOW mentality when I was 17. I'm now 22 years old. It started out in high school for me. I saw all the bullshit dating that was going on in the hallways. You know, I started seeing the behavior that was taking place, the men being turned into these pets. And I was disgusted by it, and I still am. During our lunch break at my school, you know what would happen? They would let all of the kids go into the main atrium in the front of the building and talk. Personally, I did that for the first few weeks, and then I started to notice a pattern. Drama. And you know where it was coming from? It wasn't coming from the guys. Big surprise there. It was coming from the girls. That's what they did. That was like their hobby. They started drama. I don't want that. I didn't want to be a part of it because they were talking about guys too, not just other girls. And so, you know what? I said, fuck it. I'm going to sit outside on the sidewalk in the bus circle and enjoy the damn sunshine because that is too nice to waste. Now, that right there is the first time that I truly went my own way when it came to women. And over the years, I've come to realize a number of values and processes that I enforce in my life. I'm going to list a few of them here for you. They're truth. I will go straight for the truth. And you know what? Sometimes that pisses people off because they don't like to hear it. And I don't care because inevitably it's going to be good for them. Wisdom. There's an old saying that I learned from Star Trek. Which, of course, all the rights to that program goes to its creators. But there was a lesson that they taught in one of the episodes. It was, you cannot use power without wisdom. Otherwise, you simply become corrupt. And that really spoke to me. It showed me that if you want to get power, you want to get knowledge, because power is an illusion. What you want is the knowledge. And you want the ability to have that knowledge to apply. Before you can have that knowledge, you must be wise enough to know when and when not to use it. And that, to me, is a golden rule, and it still is. Retribution is a big one for me. Altruism, but that is very conditional. It's only to prevent the loss of life at no risk to myself. If I see somebody being held hostage, I walk away. I'm not getting involved in that. I am gone. And that's not being cowardly, that's self-preservation. Anyone that says that's cowardly can shove that up their prideful ass. I don't give a damn. And my self-respect. And that is one thing I will not compromise. I've talked to a lot of women. I've met a lot of women. I've dated heavily. I'm not heavily dated many people. I have dated intensely more people than I can count on one hand. And I'm talking about 6 months at least. Now, and you know, one thing I noticed was they wouldn't let themselves be held accountable, and they wouldn't listen to reason or sense. They had to be right, no matter what. And in doing so, they would ruthlessly attempt to get me to compromise my self-respect, to be right. So keep that in mind. Now, some of the several core processes that act in my life are my intellectual, my financial, and my spiritual development. Now, when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about sitting on my knees, praying, 20 minutes every morning and every night. I don't do that. I do something very different, but that's not for this channel. All that you need to know is that the spiritual development that I'm talking about is non-Abrahamic, meaning I don't involve myself in any of the three Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I will not be preaching any of the content from those religions on this channel. My emotional and mental integrity I value extremely highly, and I maintain them like a Formula One car. My physical health and my temporal welfare. God damn, I can never get that right. Basically my time. If you waste my time, I'm gone. That's my most valuable resource. You know, I've only got so many years in my life. I'm not going to waste them talking to some idiot. Now, to me, MGTOW is about maintaining these philosophies that I've listed. Any breach of them is simply not entertained with my attention. Because you know what happens? Well, that's for after this. But the only time I will entertain something with my attention is to prevent whatever it is that I'm entertaining through education from deceiving others. I will attempt to educate other people so that they are wise enough to know that it is bullshit. And I take pride, well, I don't take pride in it because I don't like exercising my ego as much as most people, but where the hell was I? Okay. The whole premise of MGTOW is to go your own way in the case that a woman, or any person for that matter, attempts to impede the pursuit of any of the principles that I follow, or, well, I do not fight them. I will not fight that person. I'm not going to entertain them with my attention. That is identical to attempting to put out a fire by drowning it in gasoline. Instead, I just simply walk away and starve the fire of its fuel, and it just burns out. That's it. Analogously, I'm not fueling the mechanism that was implemented to hamper me by or as somebody else. Now, that's my take on MGTOW in terms of myself, and I'm going to be obviously voicing some of that in the rest of my videos. Now, some of the topics I'm going to be discussing in those videos are the ego, and while I do sound serious, I am only serious to express my concern and to imbue an air of seriousness into the ideas I'm trying to put forward. I'm not really an egoic person. Now, I'm not prideful either. I don't really take pride in much. So the ego, that's going to be one topic. MGTOW conscious housing, that video is about to go up, or it already has. The digital MGTOW, which is about cell phones and digital storage. A video about burning your bridges with your past regarding women who you've dated, women maybe you haven't dated but are probably acting like a parasite on your back. The mask that we as MGTOWs have to wear to preserve our credibility, our reputations, and our sanity, as well as our financial success. The overwhelming presence of drug and alcohol indulgence in today's society and how it influences the MGTOW, this is going to be based on my experience with addiction. Now, some of the principles and core values that I listed before are what I would call my inner haven. They're what I turn to evaluate my surroundings. And I'm going to have a video about talking about how to build your own, how to build that haven for yourself. I'm going to have a video about the wheels of a MGTOW, how you get yourself around this world, and maintain your MGTOW status to prevent you from having to cater to someone else's bullshit and sacrifice your self-respect when you can cruise in the free air at your own leisure. I'm going to talk about life as a college student at a non-party school. I go to a school where there are no parties. It is pure academia. And let me tell you, people, it's not very different in terms of women. They're a little bit smarter, but their mentality is just the same. They just use bigger words. Now, and then after that, I'm going to have many others to come. Hopefully I can rival some of the other channels out here. Obviously, I'm not trying to beat you, only contribute. Now, the idea behind all of these topics is that they tie together to form an ever-growing network of concepts for the manosphere in general to navigate and learn from. That is what we're trying to create here, a knowledge base. And I am trying to contribute to that. And it is your job as the listener to attempt to do the same. So, be safe, guys. Drop your dead weight and soar.